Hi guys, so I got asked to do a video on where to find Quetzals on Ragnarok, and I thought I would turn that into a full-on how and where to tame on Ragnarok, because we do have access to Griffins, and it'd be nice for you to be able to see how easy it is to tame things on a Griffin like this. Now, I am obviously using the same Griffin that I've used before. You can tell there. He's got a little bit more stamina, I think, the last time I used him. Also, haven't cleared all the junk out of his inventory. Now this time I am taking fur armor with me in case of the Quetzal goes into a cold area. I've got Rex egg kibble. I've actually remembered to bring narcotic this time. I've also got wooden spike balls. I'm using shocking tranquilizer darts, and I've got a fairly nice rifle for that. I've also got otter face, my otter, on my shoulder, so that should be a little bit of a help when it comes to in the cold areas. Now, where I am at the moment on the map, let me do that so you can see. I'll bring this up. So I'm at 22.1 by 26.8. Now, what I'm over here is this lake where it kind of just comes off of Vikings Bay there. So if you go Vikings Bay over to the Blue Obelisk, you'll find this place. This is kind of the top left-hand corner of a rectangle I'll be looking in. Now, from here, the rectangle I want to be looking at is going down to about 40 by 70 on the map as you see it. So it is, you do find Quetzals over in the really cold areas, but there are some very specific places to find them. So one of the first places that is usually quite good to find them, let's put up my map, this here, is what you can see is if you were to follow this line up Vikings Bay across and over to where those sort of mesa rock constructions are. Following that line up there seems to be quite good for finding Griffins and flying just above the tree. Quetzals, flying just above the treetop. So I'm going to go and see if I can find any that way, but I'll show you the route that I take. Now I will say the Quetzals don't. I tend to find them at about this level above the trees here. So this is where I'm flying here. Right. So try not. You kind of do have to follow the contours of the ground a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm following up here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow around the outside of the ice lake and over the top of these trees. So here where I'm going over towards the rock area is 25.7, 30.2. And I'll put the map away so I can do this. And I'm just going to follow along these sort of lakes here and the tops of these rocks. And we hopefully will see a Quetzal around. Now they do spawn above the ice there, but I just find that this is the most regular place to find them along here in this area. So I'm just going to keep going back and forth across here. And basically, I mean, a basic line to take is from Vikings Bay over towards the swamp, and it's raining and it's foggy, so I'm going to wait for that to clear. Aha, finally. Right, okay, so what I was saying is I tend to go not far above the trees, and I go back and forth across these evergreeny sort of trees that you find around here. I don't tend to find them actually over the jungle trees there. These are the trees that I tend to find them over. And actually, in general... Oh, look, there we go. Ooh, oh, that was serendipitous. I don't know. Okay, so that's a level 25 male Quetzal. So as you can see, this is kind of the height that they tend to be at. They sometimes will drop down, sometimes go a little bit higher. Now, I'm going to come back for him and see if he's here later on. And I keep on going back and forth. So, over the sort of tops of these pine trees or these evergreen trees, this is where I tend to find them. Now if I don't find any over here, the next place I tend to go and look is over where the beaver dams are. But a good practice might be to actually just follow along this sort of canyon line until you can cut in around the back of that mountain there. Around here they can kind of be all over the place. So try and sort of like dip up and down and see if you can find them. Sometimes I find them really high up at the top of these sort of walls there, and sometimes I find them fairly low down. So not seeing any around here. Be nice if I could get a nice high level one. Okay, so I've gone around the back of the mountain. Now the next place that I tend to find the Quetzals is over the tops of... let me just get in range. Aha! These trees here is where I tend to find also a lot of Quetzals flying over the top of them. So I'm just going to have a little look around here. And once again, what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to zigzag back and forth, and I'm going to be at about this height. But not just stay at this height. I'm going to stay at this height above the tree. So I'm going to follow the terrain because they do tend to sort of go down with the terrain as well. Okay, so this little bit of area that I'm actually flying around, I kind of center it around here. This is 31.8, 42.7, and I go over towards where the beaver dams are. But as you can see, I'm just over the back of the mountain that's got the ice cave in it. So what I'm going to be doing is, let's take this out. I'm just going to be going along this line of trees here. I'll go across that set of trees and then come back over towards that rock there. Okay, so I didn't find any going there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the tops of here. So over there would be the beaver dam. Oh, I've run out of stamina. Okay, that's my stamina back. So this is the beaver dams over here. I am at 25.2 by 48.1. And once again, I'm going to follow over around this big mountain ahead of me here. So I'm going over towards the canyon here. And once again, I'm just going to fly this height above the trees and just follow the tree line. That's a tapagera down there. So that's all they appear when I want Quetzals. Okay, so I've just followed to the end of this tree line here. As you can see, I'm going over now towards the volcano. So I do find quite often you do get the Quetzals sort of tend to fly down this sort of valley bit here. Let me turn off my map so I can actually sprint. So once you get to the end of those sort of evergreeny pine trees, do make sure you have a little look down here, because quite often I do find them around here. And once again, I'm just going to go up here, and you see there's a line of those trees ahead of me. So at the moment I am at 27.3, 48.8, and I'm going to go up to that line of trees, and I'm just going to follow back towards the beavers again. And that's kind of... Oh, there's another one. Woohoo! There's two. Damn. Damn. Okay, what level is this one? An 85 male and a 90 female. Now, I actually have a high level female. I want that male. Okay, right. So, first of all, stamina. Keep an eye on that bugger. Now, I'm also going to get out my spike balls ready to go for when it drops. Right. So, and get over here. Now I'm going to try and herd him away from the volcano. But here we go. So, because I'm on a Griffin, what I can actually do is move around and fly at the same time, which is cool. So, pop, shots, get this guy. Here we go. Now I'm sprinting and... Oh, missed. There we go, another shot. Now this probably will take quite a few shots to drop him, but if you've seen the Tapagera video, you'll notice that it's like so much easier what I'm doing right here. Now I don't really want him to go the direction he's going in, but let's just hope he kind of decides to do a bit of wiggly away from this, because I think he might be going towards dangerous areas. But so as you can see here, I'm getting quite a lot of shots on him. I think I got him again. Yes, I did. Come on, dude. Go the other way. Come on. Come on. Okay, if I could drop him here, it'd be fantastic. So let's, I'm just going to keep putting as many shots as I can on him here. There he goes. Oh, I might have got one too many shots. Right, okay. Gun away. Drop down. Oh, don't want to do that. Okay. Actually, I think he's landed in a really safe space. I don't think I actually am going to need my spiked walls. So, here we go. Rex egg kibble, throw the narcotics on him. Right, and I am just going to keep an eye out on stuff. Okay, guys, so this Quetzal at level 85 has got 11,200 topor, basically, just under 11,200 topor. Now, what that means is that you can leave that for quite a long time for that to drop. Now, I let it drop to about 7,000, and then I put 100 narcotics on it. 100 narcotics will give you about, well, it'll give you 4,000 topor or torpidity, and it will take, I think it's about 15 minutes for it to go on there. Now, the cool thing about doing this on Ragnarok is you can get Griffins, who just pooped on my head, I think. Thanks, mate. So you can get Griffins, and there's also places where you'll find lots of Ovies. On the map, if you look at, let me get the map so we can actually see a bit better. Actually, I think, yeah, I can do that here. Okay. Right, so if you look on the map here, between latitude, 5 and 15, all the way through to longitude, actually, there we go, all the way through to longitude about 70 through to about 85. That's the highlands up there. And what you will find is there's groups of Ovies up there. And because you're on a Griffin, you can get back and forth very quickly. So you should have more than enough time to let the Quetzal's torpidity drop, put a load of narcotics on it, let its food build up, go over there, kill an Ovi, come back and throw loads of mutton on them. If you are doing this on a official server, I would say you definitely want to make yourself some preserving salt. Luckily we have Rex egg kibble, but if I was doing it with mutton, I would have preserving salt. That means I could throw some onto the Quetzal, get a load of mutton, throw it on here. The reason I would say do that if you're on Ragnarok is A, you're going to be able to get like huge amounts of mutton, and B, you are going to get a better tame by using mutton. So don't go for prime meat, don't go for raw meat. Make sure you just let the torpidity drop down to the point where you can put loads of narcotics on there. It will take, a long time for the torpidity to raise again and then to lower again. You've got plenty of time to go over there, get yourself an OV and come back. If you don't feel confident doing that, fair enough. But that's what I personally would do, is if I get a high level Quetzal, I would let the torpidity drop quite far, put enough narcotics on there to get to full, and then go and find myself an OV. And that just means I would get the best possible tame apart from kibble. And that's just personally what I would do, and I think is one of the benefits of being on Ragnarok, having Griffins that go fast and being able to get all that mutton. Okay guys, so this is about to be tamed. I only have one more kibble that needs to go on there. And as you can see, it's getting down toward, it needs to be 40 for this, because it's 80 food per kibble, so it won't eat until it's got 80 food in deficit. Now, just something I wanted to point out, now it is raining, I do apologise about that, but I am currently standing basically on the Quetzal. Make sure you're not doing that when it gets up. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fly up and wait for it to come up, and for some reason that rain is not showing. That is really, I can't hear the rain, that is really weird. So I'm just going to wait for that Quetzal to get up, and I'm going to take it home, and then I'll show you the other areas that I also sometimes find Quetzals in. Okay guys, so I am back at where I first saw Quentin the Quetzal. As you see, that female is still over here. Now, if I dropped him in a more dangerous area, what I would have done is I would have thrown spiked walls around him. I could do that one as well. It's actually got really pretty colours. But to be honest, I don't really want to sort of clog this video up with just basically repeating what I've already done. So as you can see, I'm over at 25.7 by 52.3. And this is kind of the end of the second area, I would say. Now, you do sometimes find them flying sort of in between these two bits of rocks here, or over the top of the canyon. But most of the time I've seen them coming down that area. So it's usually off of those sort of pine trees down here and along there, if you are going to find them here. I don't tend to find them directly over the beaver dams, which is like ahead of us there where the castle is. It tends to be following from that mountain over there down to here, occasionally actually in the canyon. Now, the last place that I find them is actually in the very, very cold area. So what I'm going to do is I am going to throw on the rest of my fur armor. There we go. Now I have got a torch on me, and I'm going to go over to the cold area. Okay, guys, so I'm in the canyon here, and I am at, let's have a look, 36.7, 44.6, so you can see where I am. And where I tend to start looking for the Quetzals is on the other side of the canyon, that set of trees over there. And I follow that set of trees over, and then I go over the top of the mountains. I do apologise, that is really bright. I have actually dropped my camera a little bit, believe it or not. So what I tend to do is go up here and once again follow the lines of the cliffs, or follow the lines of the terrain about a tree height again above the trees. So here we go. And now from here I kind of follow this, and you'll notice there's also these trees. It does seem to be over the top of these sort of pine trees is where they tend to like to spawn. I don't know if that's coincidence, but it's just where I tend to find them. So first thing I do is I follow along this line of cliffs here. Now once I get to the end here, this sort of set of waterfalls, so I am at 38.8, 49.8. What I do here is I start cutting into the snow biome. So I come up over here, and then I aim for that set of trees over there. Sometimes I find them hovering over the top of there. Okay, guys, so I've actually cut into the snow biome here, and where I tend to go is, I've just flown up high so you can see, is I tend to go from that clump of trees over there. Actually, let's bring the Griffin down there. From that clump of trees over there to over there, along that line, and then back along to there. So once again, just following all these lines of trees. Now, you will notice I am freezing, even though I've got all that fur on. But if you actually get fairly close to the ground, you don't get too much of a freezing problem. So I would say, you know, if your health is an issue when it's flying up high, or you don't have much fur armor, and I mean, you're going to need a lot of fur armor if you're going to look from here. That's one way to sort of get a little bit lower and reduce the cold issue a bit. Of course, you can just keep eating food, and it will sort of give you a little bit of health back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here. Now, it seems to be they kind of stop spawning at about the line of the actual redwoods. Okay, so as you can see here is I'm actually going into the redwoods themselves. 40.3, 67.2. And this is kind of the very edge of where I have ever found them spawning. And then what I tend to do is follow these lakes and sort of go above the trees. Now with the redwoods, it's not necessarily a case you have to stay above the trees, because they tend to fly actually into the trees. But I don't really see them spawning in the redwoods that much anyway. Unlike on, say, the island, where, yeah, that's fun usually. Okay, so what I've done here is I've circled around again. And I'm just following the tree line. Let's see if any more of them have spawned in. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm just following the backs of the sort of tree line here. That would be where you would be able to go down to the desert when they finally spawn it completely in. And I haven't seen any more, but, you know, this is just the areas I would find them up here, and I have found them before. This is also where they seem to fly towards. If you catch one sort of in the middle of the map, they tend to go towards this area. So, specifically this lake, I find. And they tend to go and get stuck in there. So, if you do actually sort of start hitting one and you don't manage to catch it up, try coming over to this lake here. I'm at, helps if I do that, doesn't it, really? 45.7, 47.8. I'm pretty sure that's the same bug as on the island, you know, where they go towards 50-50. Okay, and this is the last area that I'm checking here. As you can see, I'm just still... Is that a Tyrannosaurus? It is. Okay, 46.4, 44.3 is kind of the last area that I look at. And here I'm coming sort of back a full circuit back to the canyon here. And yeah, this is kind of, once again, the last area where I tend to find them. I don't know if they're going to update the spawns over there, but I haven't found any over there. But as you can see, I found 3 on the little circuit that I did there for the video. Right, guys, so I hope you found that useful. Just to recap again, let me just take off my gloves so you can actually see. I tend to go from about 25 by 25 along to about 40 by 70. That's roughly sort of the far end of it. What I tend to do is follow around the outside of that mountain there, which is where the ice cave is. Don't tend to find them over the top. And then after that, I tend to follow down around the back of the mountain and go straight ahead from where I am here. Circle back around and then go down towards the volcano. Then come back along the canyon around here, up the top of there, and then back round again. I hope you guys found that useful. I hope it helps you find a Quetzal and tame a Quetzal. Yeah, have fun, guys. Happy taming. Catch you all soon.